up by Davis. Here comes James. By Williams and the sledgehammer.
Many people are rejoicing right now because the NBA season is in full swing. Yes, there are still issues regarding the pandemic and games have already been postponed, but the overall message from the NBA is that the season is going to continue barring major setbacks. As such, many people are wondering who is going to rise up to not just take their conference, but take the title when all is said and done. Which teams are going to make a big push to dethrone the Lakers? Allow us to break down why this team will win the NBA Finals. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 10. Isn't it too early for picks? Given the current situation in the NBA with the postponed games and the teams already heavily affected by COVID outbreaks, yeah, it might be fair to say that, and multiple teams have only just played 10 games so far, and some haven't even gotten to play that.
He's one of a kind.
Yeah, you can't do it, Dick.
One of a kind. They pull up on the
But here's the thing, while it is true that certain things will be hard to predict given the early stages of the season, there are already standouts. There are already teams who are attempting to go and make their case that they've already been the best team in the league and that they're the team to beat overall. Might be a little callous this early on, but it's not a stretch to look at some of these teams and wonder how they'll stack up when the time comes. So, who are the teams that are already making waves in one form or another? Let's break it down. Number 9, the Dallas Mavericks. Don't let their record fool you. The Dallas Mavericks are very much a team to look out for this season, especially when they get into the playoffs. And the reason for that is simple, Luka Doncic. Now we know this guy was special when he entered the league and started blazing the various records in a very easy Rookie of the Year win, but he has done a lot since then. In just his second year, he set records in the playoffs for points scored, on his first trip to the playoffs, and more. They pushed the LA Clippers to the limit in the first round and turned a lot of heads as a result. While they didn't make the biggest moves ever in the offseason, Luka is still playing incredibly. He's going to be putting the team on his back in many ways, and even as some of his teammates can be elevated by his skills, the Mavericks are going to go deep. Yeah, it's dangerous to just rely on one player, especially when injuries are almost expected in a league like this, but hey, it's worked in the past. Number 8, the Indianapolis Pacers. The Pacers are a team that doesn't get a lot of credit at times for how good and balanced they are overall. The only reason they haven't done better in recent years is because of injuries to their star players like Victor Oladipo. However, Oladipo is healthy right now, and with some potential moves before the trade deadline, they could even get better.
Which is good, because Nate McMillan did that. And right here, Vic just backs him up, shoots it a little.
What really works in their favor is that they would be an unexpected team to go and make waves in the playoffs, not unlike a certain other team that we'll get to later. Being an underdog can work in favor of many, and as such, they can catch people off guard with their play and make a big push should they get in and get the right seeding. Sometimes you don't need a team that's full of star power. Sometimes you just need a team that works well together. Number 7, the Portland Trail Blazers. The Portland Trail Blazers were the talk of the NBA bubble when it first started, because they won all of their games in the bubble to secure the number 8 seed, and then they went and beat the Los Angeles Lakers, led by LeBron, in the first game of that series. Yes, they were swept afterward, but many people still believe that was due to Damian Lillard going down to injuries as well as some other factors. But because of their skills, there was a day or two when some wondered if the Lakers were in serious trouble. And that's the key right there. It's not about being the best team at the beginning of the season. It's about getting hot at the right times, such as, the playoffs. If they're able to get a streak going at the end of the year like they did last season and start blazing, pun intended, through the playoffs, yeah, they can make it to the end and shock the world by getting the finals. Something Portland would no doubt love overall. Number 6, the Milwaukee Bucks. It might surprise you that the Bucks, who have a 2-time and back-to-back MVP on their roster via Giannis, are a bit low on this list. But if you've been paying attention the last few seasons in the NBA, you know why they're this low. Because as great and possibly legendary that Giannis is, you can't win because of one player. You can get far because of them, and they have been to the Eastern Conference Finals in the past. But to push through, you need to have a team effort. The Bucks did what they could to reinforce the team so that Giannis would stay, and stay he did, which might be why this is their year. Plus, Giannis has noted that he's tired of just winning MVP trophies and not getting NBA Finals rings. When you have a fire in your gut like that, you're gonna want to get the job done. Number 5, the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are a rather curious team for sure, because they too made a splash in the NBA bubble last year and almost made it into the playoffs, mainly because of their stud player in Devin Booker. This guy's been turning heads since he entered the league. But not unlike Luka or Giannis, he needed some help to take the team to the next level. The Suns did that by getting the floor general and Chris Paul, and the results are already showing. Early on in the season, they have a winning record, and Paul's presence is helping direct the team to success. How far it'll go, it's a bit unclear, but if they're able to keep things going, yeah, they can shine on in the playoffs and maybe finally get Paul to the NBA Finals. Number 4, the Philadelphia 76ers. If this was last year, the 76ers would be very much lower in a ranking on this list, but with key moves and a big hiring with Doc Rivers, the 76ers are actually doing rather well in the beginnings of the season. They even had the best record in the NBA before finally succumbing to some losses. Plus, the COVID situation is hitting them rather hard, but that's not to say that they won't keep pushing forward. Doc is an experienced and title-winning coach. He might just be why they need to get Embiid and Simmons on the same page and push them to greatness. And if that does indeed happen, that would mean that the process worked. Number 3, the Los Angeles Clippers. Look, we get it, the Clippers are almost always projected to be near the top, especially in the last decade or so. People like to think that every year will be their year and they can finally top the Lakers and so on and so forth. And you know what? Maybe this year is the year. Last year was a best worst case scenario for the Clippers, as the two big name players come their way via Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but they didn't exactly get a lot of playing time together. The pandemic and the NBA bubble did not help things and they lost in Clippers fashion. But right now, they're the number 2 team in the West, and if they can get their act together, they might finally prove the naysayers wrong. Number 2, the Boston Celtics. Currently, the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics, are a team on a mission. They want to finally get back to the NBA Finals. They've made the Eastern Conference Finals multiple times under Brad Stevens, and yet have lost to teams like the Cavaliers, the Raptors, and the Miami Heat.
Boston, this is how you attack a shot blocker. Hello, welcome back. We know you've been hurt. Looks like you got some rest.
It's true they lost a big player in Gordon Hayward, but if you think about it, they were doing fine without him because he was injured so much. So now they have a chance to truly push themselves and make it to the finals. They have studs in Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum, and if they keep their composure in the playoffs, they might just get back to the finals. Wonder who will be waiting for them there. Number 1, the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, okay, like this is a surprise. When it comes to the Lakers and LeBron James, you expect them to be in the finals every year. It didn't happen LeBron's first year with the team, but he rebounded huge by getting Anthony Davis and winning the title in the bubble playoffs. In the offseason, they did lose pieces like Dwight Howard and Rajon Rondo, but they got good players to fill their ranks and fortify their bench.
Capella, not on my watch. That's a big-time defensive play by JaVale.
If the Lakers don't reach the finals with this team, that's a failure of a season, period. The Lakers are the betting favorites to win it all again, and it's not hard to see why. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the 9 NBA teams who might just be able to win it all this year? Which ones do you think honestly have a shot at either making the finals or winning the finals? Who do you think will be the surprise contenders in each conference? Do you think the league will be able to get through its season without more issues? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.